Hello YouTube land, hope everybody's doing well today. It's a beautiful day in North Georgia. I'm up in Dahlonega taking me a nice little mountain ride and just enjoying the views in the 76-degree weather, and came up with some thoughts after listening to the radio for a minute. Yes, I know the sun's irritating. So background checks. Every time you have a mass shooting or anything, liberals come out and say, well, the Republicans won't even do common sense things like do background checks. Well, let's set some records straight and also inform. And sorry about the sun thing again. It's a sunny, beautiful day in North Georgia. So background checks right now. If a business, gun seller, federal firearms license, FFL, sells a gun, new or used, it has to submit a background check. Period. Point blank, no matter what. Pawn shops that are able to buy and sell guns, if you ever watch that show Pawn Stars, you notice that they say they can't buy a gun unless it's older than like 1880 or whatever the year is, because at that point it doesn't fall under the current FFL licensing guidelines. And when that happens, it doesn't have to fall under the, those older ones don't have to fall under the same selling restriction stuff. You don't have to have a license to sell those older antique guns, which is what most of those are considered. Now let's move into a secondary note a little more about what they're asking for then. They call it the gun show loophole, which is a little bit of a misnomer because for the most part, gun shows are put on by dealers. And dealers, even if they sell a gun at a gun show, if they have an FFL license and that is their business, they still have to perform a background check. What the Democrats are talking about is the fact that if I own a gun and I want to sell it to Joey, there's nobody over there, and I can just say, hey Joey, in certain states, some states have different laws than other states. Nevada, you can't do that. Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina, South Carolina, I know, enough states that you can do that. I can just sell my pistol to Joey. Now, if I ask Joey, do you have a felony record? And Joey says yes, and I sell it to him, and it's found out that I sell it to him because Joey gets caught doing something, and I originally bought the gun and serial number that the dealer had registered came back to me, and it's proven or shown under reasonable suspicion that I knew Joey had a felony record, I go to jail for selling Joey, or basically being a strawman is what they're saying at that point. So if you're selling a gun to somebody, it behooves you to make sure you know who you're selling the gun to. If you ask them that and they say no, and you don't have a reasonable suspicion otherwise, you're probably pretty safe, even if they do, because you aren't required to do a background check on them. You need to be somewhat diligent, and diligence is, well, I asked, I didn't see anything that made me, think otherwise. So what the Democrats holler for every time that one of these things is that I can't sell my gun to Joey without going to like an FFL or down the police station, asking for the police to sign off that a background check's been done, and then with that piece of paper I can sell my gun to Joey. Or doing it through a dealer who is licensed. At that point, the dealer has to do it if he is imparted in the sale. Now the question comes down to why now. Every single one of these mass shooters, from Dylan Roof, the Klansman or white supremacist, all the way to the recent ones in Texas and Ohio, the mentally ill kid in Sandy Hook, every single one of those guns was bought legally through a dealer. The background check system would not have stopped a single one of those, and even if there was a background check system in place and they went to an individual, they still have passed the background check. it would not have stopped a single, and no, probably never stop a single mass shooting. So it's not a fix to anything. So why is it the first thing that Democrats fall to every single time one of these things happen? The conjecture, and I'm not a mind reader, but just from listening to what they want and how they frame it. God, this is a beautiful day in Dahlonega. Anyway, what happens when you have a complete background check system like that is it's basically a gun registry, because now there's a record of every single person who's bought a gun. So at that point, when I don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut, when the Democrats want to come and take the guns, they know who to come take them from. And you ask why the Republicans and gun owners and the NRA fights what you would think, well, that sounds pretty good or simple, because that's exactly what it is basically a registration system. We've got a record from the background checks of every person who has a gun. How about we register gays? If you're gay, you have to register, just so we know, just because AIDS was a big thing in the gay community. It started in the gay community through gay sex, and we need to have a registry so that we can track AIDS. So we need to have a gay registration. How do you like it? Does it feel good? I can make a point for it. And well, people who die from AIDS, yeah. Okay. And it's a bunch of conjecture, but that's basically A, why the Democrats want it, B, why basically the Republicans, in part because of the gun owners themselves, are going to fight it. And again, the whole point is, it's kind of a little bit laughable that that's what the Democrats scream about every single time there's one of these shootings, and it won't stop a single one of them. And okay, the Democrat leader's saying this, all the Democrat people are behind it, like, yeah, we need that. Well, why? It's not going to stop anything. Do you actually want to do some good? Do you actually want to do anything that has any effect on maybe trying to find out a way to stop these mass shootings? Well, that doesn't matter. We're trying to get our political idealisms in place. We don't actually want to do anything. I mean, seriously. Why are you keep screaming for this when it's not going to do any good? Because it's another agenda than this. You're just using the shootings and these people's tragedy to promote your own political agenda. You want that full registration. So if the day ever comes that you can go get the guns, you're going to know who has them. Again, every single gun that's been used in one of these instances has been purchased illegally. And, there may have been some red flags, quote unquote, on a few of them. It just came out today, and what made me think of it, that the guy who did the shooting in Texas at the Walmart, his mother called the police when he bought the gun, thinking that she didn't think he should have it. And I'm thinking, okay, try a little parenting. It's still your child, which she wasn't strong enough to do anything about it. She probably raised him in that same, I'm not strong enough to actually raise you or impart any discipline, and what turns out from it. Conjecture again. Anyway, the whole idea, though, is like everything that the Democrats have proposed in every single mass shooting event, not a single one of them would have stopped any of the mass shootings, and probably won't in the future. The people who are doing the mass shootings aren't the criminals who are mad at society and all that. They're deranged people who have problems functioning in society. And can you really just say, well, we think you're socially awkward, so we're not going to let you have a gun? So, red flag laws and all this are going to be a little bit sketchy as well. Ergo, something, yes, needs to be looked at, but again, same point I made in my last video. Sorry for the sun again. We have a Second Amendment, and we have a Constitution. You're going to have to operate within the boundaries of that. You can't just say, well, I want this, so obviously I'm smarter than everybody else, we should just get it. It's going to get thrown right out in the first challenge in court. And then you can whine and cry you want to, but it's never going to get overturned. You're never going to get a constitutional convention that's going to have enough support to overturn the Second Amendment. Period. Not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime. You know, okay, maybe in 300 years, give it a try. It ain't going to happen anytime soon. So, why do the Democrats, A, keep calling for stuff that would be overturned immediately, and B, keep calling for stuff that won't do any good whatsoever, to energize their base, to move people towards them? It's all political. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the deaths. They don't care about anything. I mean, my God, more people die in gang violence in 2 or 3 big cities in the country than by murders by non-gang and, you know, that's outside of those by far every year. You don't hear them say a damn thing about it. Well, because I guess they think the public only gets mad when it's white people who get killed, or, you know, mainstream people. If those little black gang members don't care, get killed, Democrats don't really care about that. I mean, that's just is what it is. Nobody cares, so they're not going to be out for it. As I said many times, Democrats don't actually care about people, they care about votes. And the proof is all around you if you just open your eyes.